Picture walking through a rainforest and hearing something unexpected. Not a bird, not an insect, not the distant call of another animal, but a low, quiet hum. You follow the sound and discover something enormous sitting among the vegetation. A gorilla. And it's eating. It isn't making a loud warning call. It isn't trying to scare anyone away. It's just sitting there, chewing its food and humming. And this isn't something researchers simply made up because gorillas look like they're enjoying a meal. Scientists have actually recorded wild gorillas doing this. But here's where the story gets more interesting. We don't completely know what the humming means. So why would a gorilla make a sound while eating? Let's get into it. The gorilla with a soundtrack. Gorillas have an impressive collection of sounds. They grunt. They scream. They make calls to one another. And among their vocalizations are two particularly interesting food-associated sounds that researchers describe as humming and singing. The humming is generally a prolonged, tonal sound. In simple terms, imagine one long, steady note. The singing is different. Instead of one sustained sound, it consists of several short sounds at different pitches, produced close together. And researchers have noticed something remarkable about when these sounds appear. They are strongly associated with feeding. In a detailed study of wild western lowland gorillas in the Republic of Congo, researchers followed two groups and recorded hundreds of feeding sessions. They documented 327 food-associated calls during 827 feeding bouts. And the connection to food was striking. The researchers did not find these calls randomly scattered throughout the gorillas' daily activities. They were overwhelmingly associated with feeding. In fact, 92% of the recorded calls happened while the gorillas were actually feeding. So this isn't simply a gorilla making random noises while sitting around. Something about food appears to be connected to the behavior. But that raises a much bigger question. What are they communicating? Maybe it's not just about the food. The obvious explanation is probably the one most people would think of first. Maybe the gorilla is happy. Maybe it found something delicious. Maybe it's basically saying, "This is good." And honestly, it's a fun idea. But science has to be more careful than that. Researchers cannot simply hear a gorilla humming and declare that it is experiencing the same kind of enjoyment a human experiences while eating a favorite meal. We don't know that. What scientists do know is that the calls are associated with feeding and that the type of food matters. Some foods were much more likely to produce calls than others. Aquatic vegetation had the highest probability of producing these vocalizations in the study, followed closely by seeds. Insects were much less likely to trigger them. That is an important clue. Because if the gorillas were simply making the sound because they were hungry,